I'm Douglas Carswell, the Member of Parliament for Harwich and Clacton. This weekend I'm not in Clacton, but I'm in Kandahar, here in the south of Afghanistan. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to talk to you about what Britain's doing here in Afghanistan. I'm here in Kandahar now, which is the main British-American base. It's really the hub of operations here in Afghanistan. Here in Kandahar, there are a huge number of aircraft that come in and land. This behind me is a British Air Force Hercules that I've just come off, but there's a huge range of aircraft. What's really striking is just what a multinational effort this is. There's a Dutch aircraft over on my right. I've just seen an American helicopter go over on my left. There are all sorts of aircraft from all sorts of different members of the multinational force here.
I also wanted to come through to our headquarters. We'll give you a brief on
I've just had a briefing here about what the British forces do. What is really impressive is just how sophisticated the approach is. It's not very gung-ho, it's very thoughtful. There's been a lot of discussion and a lot of consideration given to the local tribal structures, local cultural sensitivities, and also to the development work. Really very impressive listening to the people here on the ground. They're doing much more than fighting with force, they're also winning hearts and minds. Very, very interesting briefing we've just had.
They're now simulating patrolling down a street, and then they've come to a T-junction, they're going to turn right.
The typical patrol is 4 people
From the enemy.
It's always about trying to stop them getting accurate shots by keeping the rate of fire.
You suppress the enemy, and then you move.
Good evening. My name is Ed Vasey, Member of Parliament for Wantage, and I'm here at Camp Bastion, which may be a familiar name to those of you watching this. It's the forward base for the British forces in Afghanistan in Helmand Province, and we've just flown out for 2 days to come and meet and greet the Royal Marines and to talk to the other British soldiers who are out here. And Afghanistan is, I suppose, the non-controversial war. It's got broad support because the British and the Americans are here trying to rebuild a country, and it's been fascinating to talk to all ranks, from the brigadier at the top right down to the private serving on the front line. I've got to say that I think the morale, from my impression, is pretty high. I think the Marines here feel they've done a really good job, and most importantly of all, I think they feel they're making a difference. And I think all of us at home can be very proud of what they're doing, because it's an enormous logistical operation. It puts a huge strain on the armed services. They're really operating at the outer edge of their capabilities, but they're operating with an enormous amount of bravery. And of course, they're taking some punishment as well. Probably the most poignant thing I've seen since I've been here is a small memorial in the middle of this camp which records those killed in action. And those of us who've seen more memorials recording those killed in the First and Second World War, it's pretty salutary to look down the memorial and see that the first name on there was killed last June, and the last name on there was killed last month. But this is definitely a trip worth making to see our British forces at work.
I'm here obviously having a look at the Apache helicopter. The Apache helicopter is an absolutely key bit of equipment that's used out here. Quite expensive, but I'm told a phenomenal piece of equipment. I've been briefed on what happens. It's not simply a question of pilots, but there's a big ground crew here keeping these in the air. And I can tell you, looking at them from up close, they are as impressive here up close as they look on television. What are my thoughts, really? Well, it's a hugely big effort being undertaken by some extremely impressive people. The armed forces, whether it's the Marines, the Army or the Air Force, I've been really struck by just how professional they are. Everyone I've spoken to at every level has a sense of purpose. Not just Britain and America, it's Denmark, Estonia, Australia. Many different countries are involved, countries that are our friends. Some people may say that there are one or two European countries who should be doing more that aren't here, but there are a huge number of countries out here doing their bit. I'm not sure about the anti-narcotics policy. A lot of people I spoke to, I think, have reservations about poppy eradication. In terms of helping us defeat the Taliban, I think that's not something we should try and do straight away. But in terms of whether we can win this, whether we're doing the right thing, absolutely. I think we are. Having spent time out here, I'm convinced that we are doing the right thing, that we've got a very professional group of men and women out here serving their country. I've always been fairly pro our armed forces, but everything I've seen out here makes me appreciate just what an extraordinary armed forces Britain has.